So. Hey, it's Mike again. One more question. Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
What's that? Testing, testing, test, 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 test. Testing.
I have to this weekend because my buddy that lives over there is going on chickens. Yeah. And following the ride home because it's so.
Steve and Nathan just want to make sure we're okay on Ox 35. We're going to do IFB 5 instead. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye. I have OZ. I just called.
My place is spotted cow. I got a farm right next to my place. You know who else is out there? Rich Samuel.
Really?
Yeah, he lives in the Blair.
I actually like that.
I love that.
All right. Thanks, bye. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, for what? Oh, motorcycle? You know, it's a great. You know, it's a great race between the Blairs and Middle Point. It's the, it's like flashes on the platform. It's like 20, 30 miles. It's just the most winding, scenic. It's a really, it's a road. It's just a road, but it's real. It's great for motorcycles.
Okay.
Well, there's also the New Blair's, oh, the bike trail you're talking about. Yeah, the new.
I've done it from like.
Check 1 2, mic check 1 2.
But you go through a tunnel.
Oh, yeah, it's, no, it's like a Boston or something. There's a bunch of projects. But that's how I first went there. I remember 1 year my dad got a subscription. One of the stories they had, the cover story was like green waves in the land. And one of my green waves, I used to always buy the That's when I first went up there, like 30 days.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check.
Have you ever done Aurora?
Yeah. That's what's heading down.
Yeah.
That's like, you should bring a jacket.
Yeah.
Because I did it
A
once.
raincoat. Because it's Florida inside.
No, but it was like 85 degrees.
Yeah,
In the
it's
middle
like
of
40,
it. It's like,
yeah.
no, it's 55.
Yeah.
That's what the head is.
Yeah. Okay. But it's usually pouring rain out inside.
Okay.
Mic check 1 2. Okay.
I want to be a chief there someday. Well, I'll probably be a Wisconsin resident, within a year. Up through the state. Yeah.
Hey, Paul, can you do a quick mic check up there?
Testing 1 2 3. Test 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 test.
That's a thing of beauty.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna. Right. Yeah, well, okay. Okay. Well, it depends on if the comments are. But I can give you this one. Okay. Okay. Mic check 1 2. You got me? Mic check 1 2. Okay.
So Pete, they want to take, right off the top of the show at 9, they want to take a live shot of the room.
Mic check
And
1
then
2.
Right after that, they come to me in a 2-box.
I don't know.
So I don't know if you can get a dial in so you can hear what's going on. You might want to. Thanks.
You know what yours is, right? 3 3 4
Mic check. Is that any better?
No, I don't know if the fix was going to
Yeah, I was just talking to Nick here, and I was like, "Is anybody out here?" And he's like, "I think Nick is, but we also come up there because
coming in.
years in town was smaller than Kelly. Maybe it's the second last thing that comes up.
Mic check, mic check. Nothing. Mic check, mic check.
Sir? You're recording it too.
Yeah. We did a story with him at the end of the summer. No, you're not.
I mean, I think I was still on the highway as the, I was like, this is the company was still on lockdown, so I got the witnesses giving it a family member, but the witnesses the company told me to buy it. And then I was cooking sauce. Oh, to notify him or email? Was she answering questions in Scrum? I don't really want to be interviewed. I'm just, you know, I can't think of it. It's happening really. Were you recording him or were you writing notes? I mean, when you're families because you know that everything they are looking to answer for.
Right over here, because I can't listen to them. Well, you know what? We can take a stick. No, it'll be clean on the stick, Mike. Yeah.
You're in a traffic light, that can be serious. Piles on you. I was one of the cameramen from CBS. It took me 90 minutes too, so I didn't.
Yeah, let me listen. Yeah.
Right.
Test 1, 2, test.
Yeah. You're rolling. Chuck's going to get a track. Chuck, talk real quick. Chuck, mic check. All right. Hey, Christine.
Yes.
Can you stand over here and just... I'll give you thumbs up on the rolling.
Are you rolling now?
Hey, can you guys roll for Chuck real fast? We got to do this in a hurry.
Hey, Eric, how are you, man?
Hey,
You dialed in also, Pete?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
And like, they don't have a lot of.
Speaking earlier tonight, the initial briefing they gave, giving his first tragedy as governor of Illinois. Here's the timeline for this one, 24th September. Multiple 911 calls from the Enterprise Company here in Aurora about an active shooting. First officers on scene in 4 minutes. 4 of them, 2 of them are shot almost immediately. Others enter the plant. It's 25,000 square feet. They search for the gunman. They find him. They engage him and kill him during a firefight.
I gave it overtime, so I go back to the weekend and I got the best part. What? Yeah. Everything happened. Yeah. That was the time people let you in the door. Tell her how hot it's had. Where it's hot. It's cold outside.
What years ago?
You got one copy? We're good? Okay, thanks. We're good, yep.
I'm trying not to put this in your face.
No, you're all good.
Is mine high enough where it's out of your way?
Don't worry about me.
You want a shot of the room and start to shove in a toolbox and then fucking long shot. This is so stupid. Because you're not doing enough out here. Exactly.
Are you or do you plan to? There's a news conference starting, probably in the next 5 minutes. Okay, good. Yeah, thank you very much. We're not off.
You're exactly right. morning, Mike and Joe. Checking the door regularly, I am, as police are about to brief us again. They've been promising us another briefing on their investigation, a very fluid investigation right now, with the latest information, and they're expected to enter this packed briefing room at any minute. Governor J.B. Pritzker addressing the media during the last briefing, dealing with his first tragedy as governor of Illinois. Here's the timeline, 1:24 this afternoon, multiple 911 calls regarding an active shooter at the Henry Pratt Company here in Aurora. Police officers are on the scene within 4 minutes, 4 of them. 2 of them are shot almost immediately, shot and wounded. Others entered the plant. It's 29,000 square feet. They searched that facility for the gunman, find him, engage him, and kill him during an exchange of gunfire. 5 officers in total shot and wounded. 5 civilians were killed. Back in about 40 feet. Detectives here at Aurora Police Headquarters have been interviewing survivors of today's mass shooting. Their investigation obviously ongoing at a very early stage. We are learning more tonight about the gunman, a recently fired employee. We've been promised more answers to come out of this briefing. They didn't take questions earlier tonight. We're expecting they may take some questions tonight. A lot of folks gathered here to hear the answers to those questions. Keeping in mind, though, they are dealing with a mass casualty situation, the murders of 5 people and the wounding of 5 of their own. 2 of those officers wounded seriously enough to require airlift to trauma centers in Chicago. The briefing here expected to begin any minute. We'll get back to you live when it does. Live at police headquarters in Aurora, Tom Negative, WGN News.
Everyone, the mayor will be down in approximately 5 minutes.
What about the chief? I appreciate it. Well, we got it.
Tom, they were just talking to you. They just came to you to ask you if you were still waiting or whatever.
They said what now?
They were just checking in to see if you were still waiting or whatever.
Yeah, I was like,
Yes, David. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
And also, if he was gone, he came back. They must have spent. They have the kind of
Hi, folks. Okay, just want to give you about a 3-minute, 5-minute announcement. The chief will be down. I have copies for everybody, so give me about 3-4 minutes. I'll come down and make sure I get those passed out to everybody. We'll have the chief down here in about 5 minutes. I'm sorry? All I have right now is hard copies, but we're going to post a copy on our Facebook page. Cool. Everybody good so far?
also they're gonna hand out, statements. So it's also gonna be posted on our Facebook page. Oh, I think I do have that out. Thank you.
You just can't search it, it's not the OCR.
Good to know, thank you.
Sorry, wasn't sure if
Hey, so just want to give you a heads up. And also there's some sort of release or something that they're going to pass out to all of us that they're not in email, but they said that it should be on their Facebook page or they can hand it out. So I'll some pictures right there, but just
Is it coming to you again?
give you a heads up about it being on their Facebook page. I think it's going to be available. If not, I'm not sure, but I think it's available. I could be wrong. Okay, thank you.
Chris, what time do you want to need feedback? What?
Quarter till?
9:40.
I told you, sent that new to everyone, and I look at how they put it before 9 o'clock. Take that as a cue.
Okay, guys. Get this out to you. Officers are passing them out. We got some more coming out now. Chief will be down in a few minutes. You don't need one. Hey. Hi. What I told you guys.
Send down, I'll grab my dealer. Thank you. Excuse me. Should we just have Rosie send it? What? Should we just have Rosie?
My computer's probably a lot. I don't even know what it is. Thank you, sir.
Name. Name.
How we doing? Anybody else need one? Take it out. Keep going. Archer, right? Okay. Archer. And Archer. Alright. At some point I'll probably try to use to get that kind of Archer's probably Archer's probably supposed to come out, right?
Yeah, awesome. Looks like so, yep, nothing else, so. Awesome.
We're gonna try to do the first one we couldn't do just because we had other things we couldn't get up and running, but we plan on trying to do it. All of everyone we do. We're gonna try to. Yeah. The only reason we didn't do it, we typically do. The only reason we didn't, it's just we had. It's not my first day in like just my first day as a CIO. Yeah. You guys are being good to me. No, so much back. They let me know yesterday. It's fun. It's good. I just want to be right by the organization. The governor wanted me to deputy chief before. Yeah, pretty happy about that.
You got promoted yesterday? Not good timing. Got promoted, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go check and see if the chief's ready. And I'll get ready.
I just did. I'm gonna check with Courtney in a few minutes and just make sure it's on.
Should be one here. I talked to him.
Right, we're on our third or fourth, that's right, Mike, we're on our third or fourth 5-minute warning right now. It's 9:47 now, we're moving the street, we just have to not be talking. They're just putting things together right now. We're going to hear from Police Chief Kristen Zeman in just a second. They're approaching the podium, they're going to talk a bit about the gunman, the kind of weapon he had, and additional injury as a result.
All right, good evening, folks. Thank you for coming back. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. All right, this evening we've got Chief Zeman, Mayor Richard Irving, Deputy Chief Jackson, and some other folks that we brought in this evening for our evening press briefing. This will be the last briefing of the evening. We plan to have one at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll give whatever updated information we have then. So I'm going to introduce Chief Zeman. She's going to give you some information now. Chief?
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Kristen Zeman. I'm the Chief of Police of the Aurora Police Department. The following is an update of the Aurora Police investigation of the workplace shooting event that took place on the city's near west side earlier today. At 1:24 this afternoon, the Aurora Police Department received multiple calls of an active shooter at the Henry Pratt Manufacturing and Warehouse Building located at 641 Archer Avenue. Approximately 4 minutes later, the officers arrived on scene and were immediately confronted by Gary Martin, a 45-year-old man armed with a handgun. The male fired upon the officers as they arrived, striking 2 of the 4 first responders. Additional Aurora police officers responded to assist and attempt to rescue the wounded officers and to render aid. As additional law enforcement arrived at the scene, they continued to report gunfire heard throughout the building. A regional law enforcement response was coordinated, and several teams of officers went inside the 29,000 square foot facility in an attempt to locate and stop the shooter. Aurora officers, along with officers from Naperville Police Department, ultimately confronted the offender inside the building, at which time he fired at them. The officers returned fire, killing the offender. In total, 5 Aurora police officers were shot by the gunman before this incident ended. All of the officers have been transported to area hospitals for treatment for apparent non-life-threatening injuries. No injuries to first responders from other agencies have been reported. Thus far in the investigation, we have confirmed that 5 employees were located deceased inside the building. We have also confirmed that 1 employee is being treated at an area hospital for non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. We are in the process of making notification to the victims' families and are unable to release any of their names or identifying information at this time. The investigation into the officer-involved portion of this shooting is being conducted by the Kane County Officer-Involved Shooting Task Force. Investigators from the Aurora Police Department, with the assistance of the ATF, FBI, and Kane County State's Attorney's Office, are conducting the investigation into the workplace shooting incident which precipitated the Aurora Police response. Investigators have also obtained a search warrant for the offender's residence in an attempt to locate any evidence which might further the investigation. The investigation also includes a search for and collection of any evidence at a very large crime scene at the Henry Pratt building. At the time of this press release, the Victim Notification Center provided by Aurora University is no longer active. The FBI has provided resources to victims associated with this event. For victims looking for assistance, please email auroravictimassist@fbi.gov. That's Aurora Victim ASST@fbi.gov. For anyone having information relating to this incident, please email aurorashootingtips@fbi.gov. Any official updates regarding this incident will be disseminated via the Aurora Police Department's social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook. We anticipate another press briefing to be held at the Aurora Police Department at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want to reiterate my thanks to the officers from all over the state who responded today. In the middle of the incident, I looked around and I saw hundreds of uniformed officers ready to assist. This response by law enforcement from federal, state, and local agencies did not surprise me, but it still overwhelms me. I know how quick the response by our officers saved lives today. They took on gunfire, but they pressed on until they located the shooter. Some are recovering from their physical wounds, and others are home safe, recovering from their emotional wounds. They are true heroes, and we honor them for their selfless service to the citizens of Aurora. But we still lost lives today, and it cannot be overstated that those people did not deserve this. Their families have our support. I'll take any questions at this time.
Chief, did this begin as a firing that went bad?
We know that he was a 15-year veteran, and information that we have indicates that he was being terminated today.
And did he bring a gun to the termination meeting?
We don't know that. We don't know whether he had the gun on him at the time or if he went to retrieve it. We don't have that information yet.
Do you have a middle initial?
I do not know.
Are you aware of his criminal history at all, his background?
At this point, we are looking into his criminal history, and I don't have enough to share with you right now. That's being done as we speak.
Were the victims, among the victims, those who were attempting to fire him?
I don't know. I know that they were all employees, and I'm not sure exactly who was terminating him at that time. And that's information, again, that was given to us that we still need to verify.
Chief, how many people were in the warehouse during the time of shooting?
I'm not sure about that. I know that it employs 200 people, but I'm not sure exactly how many people were there at the time.
Do you know who made the 911 call?
Multiple people from inside the building called 911. I don't specifically know who they are. We are sifting through a lot of witnesses right now and trying to put all of the pieces together so we get a better picture of what happened. But my understanding is those calls came from inside the building.
Is your department at all familiar with the accused shooter? Have you been to his house before, made any contact?
Not that I'm aware of. We don't have that information yet.
Do you believe that the first shots were fired in the meeting room where he was being terminated?
I am unaware of that, if that were in the actual meeting room. I don't know the proximity.
Shot outside or inside?
When our officers responded, the first officer was actually struck outside of the building, and subsequently more officers responded on the scene, and then my understanding is then the officers were shot then inside the building.
Is he shooting from a window or from a doorway?
I don't know precisely where he was shooting from. Original reports indicated that he was shooting from a window at the onset.
How long did the full incident last?
The full incident lasted approximately 1 hour and 35 minutes. I do want to reiterate, though, during that time when we first got on the scene, that's when the shots were fired. During that time, there were no shots fired while they were attempting to locate. So as more and more teams came to attempt to locate the shooter, there were no shots fired during that time. The shots that were fired were actually into the incident about 1 hour and 30 minutes, and that's when they actually located the offender, who we believe was hiding in the building. Gunfire was exchanged again at that time, and that's when we shot the shooter.
What do you know about the firearm use?
To our knowledge, right now, he had one. We found one gun, and it is a Smith & Wesson handgun.
Did he legally,
That is what we're determining right now. We're not sure.
How much ammo did he have?
I don't know at this point. Right now, it's an ongoing scene, so we haven't even cleared the scene. We have our evidence and investigators still on the scene, and they are collecting all of that evidence. We'll have a better idea of that once we collect all of that.
Are you going to release the officers' names yet?
We'll talk about that tomorrow. Right now, we are still, there's still one that just got out of surgery, one that was going into surgery at the onset of this press conference. And so out of respect for their families, we're going to give them some time, and then we'll release that later. And same with the victims. We've identified a few of the victims, but at this point, we're allowing their family members to contact one another, and we're going to give them some time before we put their names out there out of respect.
So the timeline, they're shooting in the first 5 minutes or so, and then 90 minutes without shooting.
Correct. Remember, 29,000 square foot facility that the officers were going in different teams. And as I mentioned, the officers were at the ready to go in. We had medics staged, and so we also sent in rescue task force teams so we could go in and try to locate victims. So all that was being done simultaneously. Rescue task force were going in at the same time that officers were going in to try to locate the shooter. So we had two very different missions. One was for life-saving, and the other was to attempt to find the offender.
Do you know why he was being fired?
I do not. I don't have any information about his history, about anything with the company.
Sorry, was Andrew registered to him?
We don't know that yet. That's what we're in the process of determining. He lives in Aurora right now, but I do not know if he's a lifelong resident.
There have been several things floating around on social media in the past couple of hours. Will the police be releasing an official photograph of the shooter just to identify him?
We will release that. Once we gather the information, we will release that, yes.
Is there any evidence that he planned to do this today, had advanced knowledge of a meeting with any executives there?
I don't know. I really don't know whether this was something that he had stated to someone. That is exactly what we're going to determine as we talk with all of the witnesses.
How many locations were victims found?
I don't know exactly right now. Again, that's still, the scene is still being processed.
in terms of the offender's address, have you found anything yet? And what are you looking for out of curiosity?
The offender's address, yes, we conducted a search warrant at the address, and at this time, I'm told that we didn't find anything. We were obviously looking for any ancillary items or any devices that he might have inside the home, and from my understanding is that we didn't find anything.
Did you use the bomb squad from King County to go into that home?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, from it to go into the home. I'm not certain of that. I know that the bomb squad was staged with us, but I'm not exactly sure who took part in that search warrant.
So Chief, at this point, are you treating this as a classic workplace shooting, or are you still looking at whether or not he was targeting certain people there for other reasons?
I hate that we have to use the term classic workplace shooting. That pains me to do so. At this time, I don't know. Again, we can only surmise, with a gentleman who's being terminated, that this was something he intended to do. I'm not sure. Right now, we know that he was acting alone, and that's what we're trying to determine right now is, maybe to give us some clues inside, into his mindset, and if he had planned this or if it was premeditated in any way. At this point, we just don't know.
You said apparent non-life-threatening for the officers. Do you have a specific condition for them or any critical condition?
Right now, no, we don't. None of them are in critical condition right now. So we are in contact with them to determine, again, the one that just went into surgery. So I don't want to go into details out of respect for them and their family right now. I want to give them some time, and also until we can get further details on their condition. But right now, I can report that they are not life-threatening, none of them.
How are your fellow officers doing this evening, knowing that some of their comrades are obviously in the hospital? What's the temperature of the department?
Yeah, well, right now, we're having somber moments because, again, lives were lost. But we know that this is what they do every day. I mean, you wake up in the morning and you put that uniform on and you don't know what the day is going to hold for you, just like those victims that went to work today. But these officers know that it's, this is the thing that they are willing to accept. And so there's a lot of somberness knowing that lives lost. As I was talking to a few officers, they said, they felt like they saved a lot of lives today, but they're going to be concentrating on the on the 5 victims that they couldn't. And so right now there's on one hand a sigh of relief that our officers are going to be okay, but on the other hand, that lives were lost. That's always a tough thing.
So the first 2 were shot arriving at the plant. Were the other 3 shot and wounded during the firefight with the suspect?
All of the officers that were shot were within the first 5 minutes of arrival, and we believe that pushed the offender inside further, and that's probably where he went to retreat. And so as we brought more officers in, and that was eventually, again, over a vast building, that they were finally able to locate the offender. Not all of them, no, the officers, no. The first few responders were shot, I believe the first one was shot outside and the rest were shot just as they were starting to enter and to try to confront the offender.
Is he wearing body armor?
I don't know that.
The press release details regional law enforcement response and talks about the local police department entering with Aurora. How many agencies were involved?
I genuinely don't know. Does anybody have a number off the top of their head? I mean, I know that we had 13 teams going in at one point, but I'm not sure. I know there were hundreds of law enforcement, but at this point, I don't have an exact number to tell you. As I said, when I looked across and saw, and just in the middle of the incident, and saw the sea of uniforms, all different uniforms representing all different agencies and different organizations, federal, state, local. Again, everybody runs towards the gunfire, and that was the whole point, was to try to keep our citizens safe.
Can you describe what the police are doing inside the building right now?
Sure, right now they're collecting evidence. They're trying to determine, just based on the questions that you asked, how many rounds were fired, what kind of weapon was it, things like that. So it's all evidence collection at this point.
Did he say anything at all to responding officers?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is there any idea of how long, I mean, obviously Pratt is going to have to remain closed for the foreseeable future, so is there any idea of how long that would be?
I cannot answer on their behalf. I genuinely do not know.
Is there any struggle with the SWAT team, or was it just a shooting incident?
A struggle, meaning?
Struggle, physical, to take him down?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that when they located him, he engaged them in fire first, and they returned fire.
Chief, do you know if any other employees were being terminated today?
I am unaware of that.
Chief, do you happen to know of the police officers, whether they were male officers or female officers, they are the victims? Do you know anything about any of that?
The gender of the victims, at this, I believe the gender of the victims are all male. And then you asked about the police officers. There was a response from police officers of both genders, both male and female, but the ones that were shot are all male officers.
Okay, we'll take the last question.
Yeah, go ahead, Megan.
And just to clarify, were the victims shot before the cops arrived, or do you think it was within that 90-minute time frame?
I am not exactly sure. Our preliminary reports indicate that they were shot first, and that's when people reported the shots fired, and then our officers came in to engage. So I believe they were shot before our officers arrived. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, folks. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, if you want, meet back here. We'll have another press briefing ready for you at 10 o'clock in the morning, okay? Thank you very much.